Hey y'all, it's your favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 3. And this episode starts off with Lisa talking about, or actually, she's planning an event, and she's basically exhausted by the lawsuits and she doesn't want to talk about them anymore. And basically, she's like, I have this big event and I have events where I plan it with all these people. And she name drops all these names. Um, I'm not saying I didn't know none of them because I didn't know some of them, but I think the biggest name she name dropped in like the little beginning section was like Steve Carell. But it's like, is she really planning an event with all these people? I don't know. I feel like Lisa kind of likes to name drop. Um, she says she's planning a luncheon for the girls, and really it sounds like she just kind of wants to attack them. At least that's kind of what I'm getting from the vibe of how she's talking about this luncheon. um, and then we see Bronwyn go to lunch with Todd, and she said that Todd has made a lot of good changes since the reunion because like people talked about how he talked about her or how he talked to her and they didn't like it. And honestly, I'm not saying Todd talked to Bronwyn in a way that was good or I know anything about their relationship, but I've noticed that when people come on this show, what happens is a lot of people sit at home and make assumptions based on clips that are spliced together about how a relationship is. And I'm like, low key, we kind of need to stop that. I'm not saying that we as viewers are always wrong, but like, low key, we have a problem because we already know the show is heavily edited, things are cut and spliced together. So the fact that we, and I'm saying we because I know I do it too, continuously pass judgment on people's relationships based on these cut and spliced like moments, it's a little strange. But I'm not saying Todd wasn't bad and he did try to fix how he talks to Bronwyn and how they move and whatever. Um, but it's a little strange. Anyways, in their conversation, they talk about her dad having Alzheimer's and how both of her parents had moved in with them for a little bit. The dad is now in a facility and the mom is still living there because the mom had like a brain tumor. And it's actually pretty crazy how all of those things were happening at the same time. Um, Todd does ask her how her conversation with Meredith went, because I guess Meredith had similar issues with her father. So, like, he was trying to see if she was able to get some kind of information or, like, background on how to deal with this type of things with your parents. Um, but yeah, so they're kind of talking, and Bronwyn also brings up how she doesn't like when people don't like her. And I said this I think last season. I really do appreciate how transparent Bronwyn is with these kind of feelings that she has, because I think she feels a lot of stuff that other people feel, but most of us just aren't bold enough to admit or say that we have these feelings about things. So I do appreciate that about Bronwyn. Um, but yeah, her husband is like, well, you don't need to hang out with nobody who don't like you and nobody who talk bad about you. Basically talking about Lisa, but Bronwyn also likes people to like her. So even though her and Lisa are beefing, she still want Lisa's approval. And I don't know what it is with these ladies and wanting Lisa's approval. It might be something that's going on with the Mormon church. Maybe John is like high in it or something, but it's getting weird. I think it's probably one of the weirdest things that happens on Salt Lake City is everyone vying for Lisa's approval. Angie meets up with her dad, um, and she talks about like his childhood stuff I don't really care about. Sorry. I mean, it's good for the purpose of the show, but not for the purpose of Rope Chronicles. But she does talk about how she wants Electra to be more proud of their Greek heritage and such. And I actually resonate with that because, like, when you grow up and something is such a big deal to you, like, you would definitely want that to be a big deal to your child. And it seems like Electra don't really care. So um, that's pretty interesting to me because I feel like, or maybe Angie's big Greek behavior only happens on camera, and that's why her daughter don't really care for it, right? Like maybe Angie doesn't talk about being Greek or didn't talk about being Greek before she got on the show, and it became her little shtick, right? And that's why Electra don't see it as a big deal, because Electra's like, girl, you fake it for the cameras. So who really knows? But then we see Bronwyn at home, talking to her mom, and I guess they used to live in Northern California and they had to move down or whatever. And she's talking about moving all the dad's stuff out because obviously he's sick and living in a home. And Bronwyn's mom is kind of mean. Not in the way of like, oh, she's a mean lady, but like she makes these little comments that you're like, oh, this isn't a nice lady. Like basically trying to allude to the fact that Bronwyn wouldn't be able to have anything she had without Todd. And again, although it may be true, these aren't really things that you say to your child, regardless of if she's an adult. It's weird. Um, then Angie goes to Heather's to get some help because she's helping her like paint or something. Honestly, they'd be doing stuff just to have conversations. And Heather asks Angie about the party and like what happened because she had to walk away because things were getting so loud and awkward. And I've noticed that trend with Heather when she's not directly involved, however, she has struck the match. She likes to kind of just walk away like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. But girl, you the reason they fighting here in this party because you got back from that camping trip, immediately ran to Lisa and started saying everybody was talking mess about you. What you gonna do about it? So to me, I'm kind of like, Heather, you kind of faking it right now because you literally held the kerosene in the match, struck it, lit it, and then said, "Oh, I walked away because I didn't want to be involved." Girl, have a seat. Um, but then Angie says that she feels bad, but she also feels like she does too much. Um, to kind of make herself like she feels bad about the situation, but she feels like Lisa does too much to try to make herself feel better than others. And Heather agrees. Heather's like, yeah, I feel it because she kept on kind of like saying comments to me about how we're nothing alike and I'm nothing like you guys and I grew up different and whatever, what have you. And I do realize Lisa likes to other herself. Like I'm better than everyone I'm around. Like y'all here and y'all cool, but y'all not like me and y'all not better than me. It's a very weird way to treat your friends. Now, if you're talking about enemies, you can other yourself from enemies, but Lisa be trying to other herself from her own friends, and that's weird to me. Um, Heather also says that she does like Lisa, but she's getting hard to defend. And it's funny because I feel like Lisa has never really been defendable. Like she's talking about it's getting hard to defend, but you can like Lisa or you can hate Lisa, but Lisa has been very consistent in her behavior and who she is and how she presents to the world. So even if you don't like Lisa, you don't like her for the reasons that people do like her because it's the same. She don't be different. She's like not a different person, which I can appreciate. Um anyways, the ladies go and they meet up. Lisa has planned like a separate thing before the dinner or the lunch where she's going skeet shooting with the girls that she likes, which is basically like Mary, Meredith, Heather, and then Amy, the socialite lady, whereas Bronwyn, Angie, and Whitney obviously were not invited. Um, Heather then asked Lisa, like, oh, where's the rest of the group? Like, okay, girl, look at you being messy. Gonna light this match and walk away. But because it's not like a thing, there's no argument to be had. And she's like, oh, I only invited the girls to lunch to like clear up our issue. They're not invited to this little fun skeet shooting thing. I've gone skeet shooting and it's actually fun. So I'm gonna shut up. Let me move on. It's very fun. I was gonna say something about it, but it was actually very fun. And I had a ball in that jaunt. Okay. Um, anyways, they get to the lunch and in the lunch, there's all these whiteboards and printouts that show like cases that were dismissed and like basically judgments that were dismissed, or I don't know if they were dismissed, but they have like red dismissed all over them. And so the women are walking in and they're kind of like, what the heck? Like everyone's there at this point, and everybody's walking in like, what are we walking into? Um, and then everyone's saying that it's basically childish and tacky what Lisa is doing. And they're calling out, like, I guess she has pictures of her and John on the yacht, and it's like an old picture. And then she has pictures of her and John sitting courtside at a Jazz game. And Angie goes, oh, I think it was Angie, or maybe Bronwyn was like, these aren't courtside seats because courtside seats are foldable chairs, like not these nice seats that she's sitting in. It was honestly, it was very weird because if you're trying to say like, I'm thinking she was just trying to say like, oh, look at me and John spending money together. So why would I need to spend some random man's money when John and I have money? I think maybe that was the purpose of those photos that were mixed in there, but honestly, it didn't make sense to me. In Lisa's head, because she's so different and she has a different thought process, I'm sure things made more sense to her. Um, but anyways, she's saying that all the cases were dismissed and this and that and whatever. And Bronwyn's giving it back to her. Bronwyn's like, were they dismissed because you paid them back or because they were false? Because that is a difference, right? There is a difference in why things were dismissed. And so basically, she's getting upset because she's realizing that this room she set up, all this information, none of it's landing in the way that I think she had intended for everything to land. So I think she now like feels weird about, not weird, but she's like getting more upset because she had expected things to go one way and they not going the way she thought they was gonna go. Then Bronwyn was like, even if all of these are dismissed, the case I'm talking about and the case I brought up is still very much open. And, Lisa's like, well, my lawyers are in the process of working to get them dismissed. Okay, just because your lawyer says it's baseless, it's fake, it's this, it's that, that's not an official ruling. And I think Lisa lives in such delusion that what she says is that she can't even fathom how, well, I said it, my lawyer said it, you guys should just know that's what it is. And I'm not saying that it isn't fake, but it's like, girl, it's already in court. Let it just play out. Let us trust what's written or whatever verdict is given. That's I don't even know what Lisa was trying to do in this situation. It starts to get really weird. And then she asks Angie, like, well, what were you trying to gain talking behind my back and stuff like that? And Angie is like, well, let me say, Lisa don't even want to hear it. Why ask me a question? See, that's a pet peeve of mine. Don't ask me a question if you really don't want to hear my answer. Like, if you're going to start yelling over me or getting mad, then let's fight. Because what's the point of asking me this question if you don't want to hear it? Angie, Bronwyn, Whitney, all of them is like going back. It's a lot of arguing. Honestly, I don't think Lisa is someone worth arguing with because Lisa never wants to hear the people that she's talking to. So in this situation, they're yelling over each other, but Lisa has no intention of hearing what they have to say. She wants them to hear her, but she don't want to hear what they have to say. And then, when her and Bronwyn was going back and forth, she's calling Todd a misogynist. And basically, Lisa is fighting on all fronts because she's fighting Bronwyn, she's fighting Angie, she's fighting Whitney, and it is a lot. So I'm not going to take that from her. But it's like you're fighting all these people because you can't just say, you're right, it's an open case. This is what I'm telling you, but let's let it get seen in court. She's trying to act like it's already said and done. And it's not already said and done. There's a lot still to be said, and there's still a lot to be done for this situation to be closed. Um, yeah, and then um, Angie does say that she made the comment about, her being just like Jen Shaw, but it was mostly in jest. And then the lady comes, because, obviously they're going back and forth. And then the lady from the restaurant actually comes to take their order. And I'm like, it's been so contentious since they walked through that door that I forgot that they actually came to a restaurant to eat. And I commend that lady for coming in. I'm sure someone in production was like, go now, go ask what they want, do what you need to do. There was someone directing her, but still, girl, it's very awkward. Like, hey, everybody, are you still eating? Like, girl, no, they not eating, they fighting. But the people who weren't part of the fight were hungry and wanted to eat. Heather, Meredith, Mary, they were all like, okay. That Amy socialite girl, I feel like she just like a little extra that they trying to add in, and me not falling for it. Well, maybe they'll add her in later, who knows. Um, but yeah, then it's funny because Whitney hops in when after they're done with the orders, like after they're done with their orders, and she's like, "Well, what are we supposed to think? Like, this is a lawsuit. What did you want us to think, Lisa?" And it's so funny to me sometimes the way Whitney argues or talks about stuff, because I'm just like, Whitney, I don't even know how to describe it, but sometimes when Whitney talks, even when she's right, I be wanting her to shut up. That might just be me. That might just be me. That might just be me. But I don't know. Sometimes she be talking, and I'm just like, you might be making a very valid point, Whitney, but also shut up. And that's how I feel about her. But I mean, she hasn't really done anything this season to like upset me or anything. But I just, it's probably residuals or maybe her tone of voice. I, something. And then Brittany hops in and she's like, well, while all of this was going on at the campsite, Meredith was silent. Oh, why is you here? Like, why are you here? Brittany always, because I think Brittany, much like all of these women for some reason, wants to be really close with Lisa, and she feels that barrier is Meredith. So now she's trying to put Meredith under the bus to make sure it's like, let me claim my front row seat to Lisa the way Heather is trying to do and whatever. Meredith was like, no, I defended her and this and that and whoop whoop whoop. And it's weird because Meredith, I'm not saying she didn't not defend her, but she just basically was like, Lisa isn't here to defend herself. Let's not talk about somebody who's not here, which I agree with. I'm on that side of things. Let's not talk about somebody who's not here to defend themselves. I mean, if you're trying to have a key, then yeah, let's key about someone's life. But like, also, they're not here to defend themselves. So we don't know what the real deal is. But we do know what's written and we do know what was filed in the court. So to that end, they do know something. They're not walking blind here. Um, but then Lisa starts going off on Whitney about her business and it failing or whatever. And, that's a sore spot for Whitney. So Whitney hops up, she acting crazy, flailing around, getting up, gets into Lisa's face. Lisa pushes her. And I'm like, how did we get here? Whitney, why are you so hype? Lisa should be the person. Lisa's the person that's trying to, I guess, defend herself, but she's not the hypest person in the room. It's you, Whitney. You just went from 0 to 100. For some reason, Wild Rose failing. I mean, I get it. If you ruined your family's life or whatever by putting out this business that failed, it probably is going to be a sensitive sort of topic. But either way, she's going off, she's going crazy, and she walks off. And that's how the episode ends. And I know these women will resolve it because that's what we do on the show. We argue, we fight, we make up. But like, I don't understand. And maybe this is me. This is why I'm not on no shows like this. I don't understand how you going back and forth with somebody and they push you and you walk off. Like, that's real maturity. Like, I may not like Whitney, but that's real maturity because the instinct in me to want to slap Lisa would have been strong. It would have been too strong. I don't know if I would have been able to just be like, I'm walking away and not slap the shit out of Lisa. I commend Whitney for that because you put your hands on me, even if I'm in your face. I'm in your face, not touching you. You touch me, baby. It's on from that moment. But who knows? I don't know. I'm excited to see how they resolve this. Again, I haven't seen Lisa to be a fall on the sword, apologetic type of person. So, how do you resolve with Lisa without just being like, okay, Lisa's Lisa? So, I'm excited to see where they go. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think is like, not that anyone is at fault really, because this is like about a lawsuit, but do you think Lisa is correct that everyone should just leave it be and that it's dismissed and whatever? Or is Bronwyn and Whitney correct? Like, girl, this lawsuit is open and you're trying to act like it's not, it doesn't exist, but there is still arguments to be made on it. And I don't really know. I mean, Angie, I do think Angie do go low sometimes. She do have some low blows. But as someone who believes that let them jokes fly, let them jokes fly. If it's funny, it's funny. And that joke, to me, y'all might think different, was funny. But for some reason, sometimes Angie's mouth be getting her into a predicament that maybe is not the best. But yeah, let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and let me know how you're enjoying this season. We're 2 episodes in. Do you think it's going to be worth the 16, 18 episodes of the season? Or do you think that Salt Lake City has run its course? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Please, please, please. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.